Team quarterfinals are in the rearview mirror. Team semifinals are around the corner. North America East will be the last semifinal weekend this weekend, and right in the middle of them, strategically positioned by the one and only J.R. Howe, we have Crescendo, one of the premier opportunities for elite co-ed teams of four to test themselves in the ways that the CrossFit Games semifinals and CrossFit Games themselves will eventually test some of these athletes. We do have some of the top teams in the world here, and certainly some of the best in the North America East. We streamed this event last year live on Instagram. This year we're doing it on YouTube, up the ante a little bit. All of the heats, all of the events for the elite co-ed division will be available throughout the weekend. So if you know someone who might be interested in watching one of these athletes, one of these teams, or just a really well-run competition, this is the place to be this weekend. Today we've got two events in store for the elite co-ed division. I'm going to show you guys event one here. It's going to be the women taking the competition floor first. We will have 3 total heats of competition today. We're on the turf, 4 teams per heat. And the women have to start. They've got opportunity to switch between the two of them, but they got to get 80 calories on the air runner and 80 calories on the bike. They can switch between those two anytime they want. And upon finishing that, they're going to make their way down a handstand walk obstacle course. We'll give you a full view of it before the teams get on there. Those hurdles were introduced to this competition last year for Crucible and individual side. They brought them back with the teams here. There's the ramp to stairs in the middle, and then another set of hurdles at the end. Just for some context, every 10 feet on the turf is worth 1 rep or 1 second. We'll get to that later on. They'll work their way back and forth 6 total times, or up and down 3 times, so 6 total lengths to get to 90 total meters, or the 12-minute mark. At 12 minutes, regardless, the men will then start in, and they have almost the exact same workout, the only difference being the additional 20 calories on the runner and the biker. So that's the workout. Let's take a look at the teams we have competing here in first heat. Lane number 1 is Crash Kids. They're the only team representing CrossFit Crash this year. Caroline Thomas there on the air runner. Jessica Rubo in the back on the bike in the blue pants. And I got to give a shout out to Angie Show from CrossFit Charlotte. Drove up here to judge this weekend. Right there in lane number 2. We'll get to the guys when it gets to be their turn. But lane number 3, we have in the back there on the bike in the black, Rebecca Stidham, and up front in the pink sports bra, Cara Petrozelli, representing Apex Black. Same 4 athletes were here competing last year. Glad to have them back once again. 12th State was on the cusp of qualifying for the semifinals this year, ultimately just missed out barely. Front of screen is Kimberly DeCray, and in the back, Anna Vincent on the bike there, both wearing the Army green. And rounding out the heat, we have Arm Candy and Fit Wives out of CrossFit Coalition. Bethany Smyers on the back on the bike, Marissa Estep up front. This team is comprised of 2 husband and wife pairs. So the men from their team, the husbands, will be taking the floor later on once we hit that 12-minute mark and the guys get their opportunity to take on event number 1 here. About 2.5 minutes into workout number 1. Again, the women are trying to accumulate 80 calories on the runner, 80 calories on the bike. If you've been following JR's Instagram accounts and all the stuff that he's been doing in the CrossFit space, you might be asking, what about the In the Girls theme? That's reserved for the other 6 divisions that are competing here. Starting tomorrow for 2 days, there are advanced, intermediate, and novice divisions for both men and women, teams of 4, same-sex teams there. And they'll be doing those In the Girls style workouts that he's been advertising. But for the elite co-ed divisions, the idea is that this competition is a primer for the semifinals. And though none of the teams in this heat have qualified for that semifinal this year, in the next 2 heats we've got 6 semifinal caliber teams, 5 of them that have actually qualified this season. And last year we had several teams here as well, some of which left and said, man, that was a great learning experience. We walked away with an increased level of confidence in certain things and an understanding of what we needed to work out in other places. One of those teams, or two of those teams, were the Move Fast Lift Heavy teams that both did pretty well last season, and Christine Best was on one of those. She's on a new team this year, Ocean State. They come in as the top-ranked team, second place overall out of the quarterfinals. They'll be in the final heat today alongside Mayhem Independence, who was third in the North America East quarters, and CrossFit Reignited, who was fourth. So the second, third, and fourth teams from this year's quarterfinal North America East have traveled out here for this competition this weekend. It's pretty tight there behind the machine, so I'm not going to go back there to check any of the monitors, but we do see a hand up in lane number 4. So at the 4-minute mark, could potentially be getting close to having some of the athletes start in on the handstand obstacle course. We see Jessica Rubo there waiting, Rebecca Stidham in the green pants, and then it's going to be 12th State Kimberly Decree kicking up first. Now, the athletes can switch as they need to, and each 10-foot section counts as a rep. Rubo on the left in the blue, Stidham in the green in the middle, and then in the shorts, Decree picking up. Jessica Rubo making light work of the hurdle. She is here from CrossFit Crash, obviously, and has had more opportunity to practice that than most. And she looks like she might be doing this 50-foot segment unbroken there. Caroline Thomas just walking behind her. So 50 feet done for her. Thomas will kick up and head back the other way. Anna Vincent now coming off the top of the ramp to stair combo. Next to her, Cara Petruzzelli now taking over for the Apex Black team. Caroline knocks out 10 feet as Rubo starts to head back in the other direction. Rubo in the far lane in the blue pants over the stairs and ramp, no problem. Decree gets another 10 feet done, and Vincent will kick up again in the foreground as Petruzzelli is working in the middle of the screen in the pink, and in the back of the screen over there on the right, Arm Candy and the Fitwives out of CrossFit Coalition are getting to work on a handstand as well. Crash Kids, lane number 2, running away with it on their hands here in the first heat so far. This score for this workout is the total time for your male pairs and your female pairs. So we'll keep track of that as we go. Vincent working on the hurdles here in the foreground. Rubo kicks down for a second. And in lane number 4, 12th State does finish up their first full section across the floor. You got to go down and back 3 times, or 6 total lengths. Half of that is now done for the Crash Kids at the 6.5-minute mark. And Rubo up once again. 10 more feet done for her. 1 more of those hurdle sections out of the way. The far back, the women for the Arm Candy and Fitwives are still working on that first hurdle section. These have been set up since last night, so the teams did have a chance to check in and try some of this out, but it's going to be very new for some of them and less new for others. Coming back towards us, Rebecca Stidham right here. Lane number 3, Apex Black, currently second in the heat. And they're working their way across the floor for the second time in this direction. Misunderstanding there. So in that middle section, you've got to traverse 30 feet unbroken. That's got to be a 10-foot unbroken, 30-foot unbroken, 10-foot unbroken to get all the way across. Rubo is now heading towards us for the final time, left side of the screen. Petruzzelli coming to a standstill there on the ramp. Again, they're working their way back towards us for the second time, and now next to them on the right side of the floor, Vincent clears the hurdles. And so we got a dead heat between lanes 3 and 4, Apex Black and 12th State. For a second in this heat, Rubo misses that time on the stairs. And with Stidham coming down again, Kimberly Decree up and down the stairs. She's got 10 more feet to traverse, and they may be looking to take over the second place in this heat. And Kimberly Decree does get it done. She's going to probably readjust the hurdles there so that Anna Vincent can give another attempt. Petruzzelli looking good up the ramp, stumbles on the stairs. Rubo trying to get across this ramp stair combo. She does that. 8:15 has elapsed. Caroline Thomas for the Crash Kids looking to knock out a 10-foot section here. And she does get across, so only one trip back across the floor for the Crash kids. 3 minutes and 20 seconds until the time cap for the women. In the meantime, Stidham gets that section done for Apex Black. They're now 10 feet behind 12th State for second place in the heat. And in lane number 5, far side of the screen, CrossFit Coalition has finished the hurdles for the first time, so 10 feet done for them. And Marissa at.F working on the ramp to stair for the first time, but we're gonna stay with Rubo and the Crash kids here as they're getting ready to set kind of the time to beat here, at least for the women. She attempts to go straight into that last section, saves it. And at the 9-minute and 19-second mark, the Crash kids will log a score. Again, it's gonna be the males plus the females in terms of time. So not necessarily a heat win for them, depending on what the men will do. Vincent working on the hurdles, back step forwards, saves it, gets across. Great save there for Anna Vincent out of 12th State. So they've got 2/3 of the handstand walk obstacle course done. And they'll head back across the floor for the last time. Stidham entering your screen there in the green pants. And she gets 10 feet done. So they're 10 feet behind the 12th State team right now. 2 minutes to the time cap for the women. At that point, the men will take over. Same task at hand for them. Have to accomplish a specific number of calories on the bike and the runner before getting to this handstand walk obstacle course. Oof. Try to pull wide for you guys here. That's not wide. Anna Vincent, right side of the screen, unable to hit it. Far side of the floor. And the all black Bethany Smyers giving another attempt. Now it's, excuse me, DeCray who's up. Kim DeCray down the stairs. Gets across the line. Anna Vincent on the hurdles one more time here. Less than a minute to go for the women. If they fail to accomplish the entire handstand walk course before the time cap, their time will be 12 minutes plus the number of 10-foot sections that they don't complete. So if they have 5 sections remaining total, then it'll be 12:05 as their score for total time. And right now that would be the total score if they don't get any more sections for 12th State, as they have 5 10-foot sections remaining to go back across. DeCray wants to eat into some of that, takes 10 feet done right there, 20 seconds to the time cap. See if Anna Vincent can get any more of that task accomplished for them. Has to get this 30-foot section unbroken. Not going to do it. Oh, a bit of a collision there. And Petruzzelli is going to come up short of that section right at the buzzer despite making it there. So I believe 12:04 will be the time for the women from 12th State. Try and just do a little math here while the men get to set on the runners. Apex Black should have been 5 sections behind that, so I believe their time will be 12:09. And the Arm Candy and the Fitwives completed 1 section, so they should have 12:29. Obviously, the scores I'm reporting are unofficial, but that's what I believe it is. 9:19 for the Crash kids, just demolishing the handstand walk obstacle course. And we'll go back and check in on the men on these 4 teams in heat number 1 here at Crash Crescendo. So, lane number 2, Crash Kids is the team name in the back. Zach Striel, coach and member here at CrossFit Crash. Caden Myers in the foreground, a young man who competed at Crucible last year as an individual. He's less than 20 years old. Late addition to their team. One of the members of their team had to drop out. Just didn't want to risk any kind of injury, so Caden filled in for him last minute. Lane number 3, the Apex Black team. Justin Bell up front, Caleb Sylvie in the background there, and the neon green hats, can't miss them. Lane number 4, Austin Rowe, no shirt, running in the foreground. Mike Eleftheriou, the Greek name, hopefully I got it right. We saw Mike at CrossFit Charlotte last offseason competing there as an individual. 12th state team, as I mentioned earlier, was on the cusp line of making it to that North America East semifinal. I believe that's the most difficult semifinal to qualify for in the world as far as teams are concerned at the very least. And they were flirting with the qualifying position throughout the review process. Didn't make it this year, but a very good team. And then in lane number 5, as I mentioned, the husbands of the women we saw in the previous heat. Brandon Estep in the background, Chuck Smyers in the foreground representing CrossFit Coalition. Those are the men in heat number 1 here on event number 1, day number 1. This is Crescendo 2024. If you're just joining us, I'm Brian Friend. I'm going to throw up the workout for you one more time. Haven't seen it in a while. The women already completed their work. They had 12 minutes to either get a time or get as far as they can. They had 80 calories on the machines before 90 total meters, which is 6 times across the, 3 down and backs on the floor. The men have 100 calories on each machine. They can trade that out any way they want as a buy-in to that handstand walking. Although the machine work is there and it will certainly get the heart rate up, if you don't have the gymnastic skills here, it's going to be hard to put up a competitive score. But when you have a couple teams that do have the capacity to knock out some gymnastics, then the speed with which you're able to get through this buy-in on the machines ends up mattering quite a bit more. Three minutes, 15 seconds into the time, working time for the men. Although he would hate it if I said it, there is J.R. Howell on the screen there, the man who organizes programs and makes this competition possible for everyone. He has a tremendous group of volunteers, a lot of whom are from this affiliate, that have been doing this with him for years now. Although most of these are not judges at, premier competitions or CrossFit Games or anything like that, they have a lot of experience, and he leans on them heavily in a lot of different ways. Approaching the 4-minute mark for the guys. Looks like the bikes. Oh, no, I thought the bike might be done there for CrossFit Crash, but Zach telling Caden he's got to go back and get a couple more calories. Apex Black changing it out. Brandon on the right side of the screen holding up the 3 symbol. Judge is also doing that. 4 fingers up in the air for the 12th state team. So we are going to have some teams get into work on the handstand walk obstacle course here. Zach Streel is going to be very good at this. Caden Myers and the rest of them, I'm not as confident. We'll see what it looks like. And it is going to be Caden Myers getting to work first here. We'll keep it wide. Kind of see who's got what skills when it comes to this handstand walk course. And Caden has seen this before, having been here last year during Crucible. He knocks 10 feet out off the bat there. This is Zach Streel, and you'll see the speed on the hands, not an issue for him at all. We saw the women absolutely demolish this workout relative to their heat. And Zach knocking out 30 feet right there and not stopping as he goes over the hurdles for the first time. And they've got 1 out of their 6 segments done before any of the other teams have even begun. Caden's going to kick up again, and we'll see if they run it back the same way with a 10 and 40 split or if they change it up. Caden does get that first 10 steps, and Zach right behind him and runs over to the stairs on his hands and up them as if they weren't there at all, quite frankly. Brandon Estep, far right side of the screen, getting to work on the hurdles for the first time. And in the middle of the floor, the neon hat, Justin Bell played forward, somersaulting through the hurdles as well. Okay, and Caden Myers picks up, down, and up again. Big, long steps, gets through the hurdles. Things are looking really good for the Crash kids here in heat number 1. The women already having a time of 9:19, so the men will be looking to put up a similar score. And then we'll see how the rest of the teams can stack up as the heats wear on. 3 total heats coming up. 4 teams per heat on this one, just to keep teams away from the wall on that lane number 6. JR decided we have 11 total teams competing, 1 late withdrawal, and so I didn't want teams to have to deal with that over there. Caden Myers up and over the stairs to ramp this time, so Zach and Caden trading out on the handstand walk really efficiently. They're getting set to finish up 2/3 of the handstand walk course that's required here, as they're at the 6-minute and 40-second mark out of a 12-minute interval. Michael Eleftheriou fails on the last stair there. Apex Black struggling on that first hurdles. CrossFit Coalition got through the hurdles, and Brandon Estep is working on the stairs to ramp for the first time on the right side of the screen. Austin Rowe doing the same. Pretty impressive save there for Rowe. Estep ends up missing it, and Zach Reel gets it done again. This is going to be the last section for the Crash Kids. So 40 feet to go for them. Mike gets the first section done for the 12th state team there on the right side of the screen. Going to stay with Crash as they finish. Zach Striel looks like he wants to take... Oh, and he fails on the last hurdle. Come back to them in just a second, as we got two teams getting close to finishing the hurdles there. Apex Black does get it done. And Caden Myers, 19:35 on the clock, so that'll be 7:35 for the men. I'm just going to jot that down for myself as a note. 16:54 will be the time to beat. 16:54 will be the cumulative time to beat set by CrossFit Crash Kids. 16:54. All right. Well, they were in a league of their own in terms of the handstand walking there. These other three teams are battling it out here. Every section counts as a rep. And now it seems like Apex Black has hit their stride as Justin Bell gets the 30-foot section done. Caleb going to run over there to join him. So Apex Black had hit an obstacle on that first hurdle, but they've seemed to have figured it out. And they've now finished 1/3 of the total distance required. Eleftheriou in lane number 4, going over the stairs to the ramp here on their first traverse back in that direction. Fighting for it. Ends up missing it. Chuck Smyers, right side of the screen, giving his attempt at the ramp to stairs. Looking pretty good here. Can he remain composed and get across the line? And Chuck Smyers locks it in for CrossFit Coalition. Austin Rowe knocks out a 30-foot section going the other direction. Justin with a miss there on the last hurdle. Brandon's going to give it a try. Justin Bell on the left. Brandon Estep on the right. Both of them missing the hurdle again. These are challenging if you haven't done them. I talked to some of the other athletes in the warm-up area. They've practiced this with foam rollers and other obstacles at their gym, but the width and height of these things, Austin Rowe with almost a strict handstand push up there. Pseudo planche position on the top of the ramp stair combo. Caleb, one hurdle to clear here, and he gets across, so Apex Black getting better as they go in terms of the handstand walking. Mike and Austin, lane number 4, 12th state, also picking up the pace here. Ooh. Mike was in a good rhythm there and just caught his hand on that third hurdle. Austin Rowe does get it done. They'll head back the other direction, trying to chase down the guys from Apex Black. There we go. Eleftheriou gets that one done, no problem. Rowe will kick up. Judge calling him back there as one of the fingers was on the line. Chuck Smyers, 3 hurdles done, needs 4 though. 1 minute till the time cap. Side by side, lanes 3 and 4, Apex Black, 12th state. Both athletes back it up off the stairs. Justin and Austin are going to give it a try now as we approach the last 30 seconds of the first heat here. Day number 1 of Crescendo 2024. 30 seconds Austin Rowe over, Justin Bell over. Can they stabilize? Austin gets it done. Justin gets it done. Mike's up. Caleb's up. 15 seconds to the cap. And Mike comes back down. Caleb gets it done. 10 seconds to go. Ooh. 2, 1. So at the time cap, I believe that as far as the men are concerned, that was a tie. And if that's the case, then they will have 12 minutes and 10 seconds each as their recorded time. The women of 12th state will have logged a time that was 5 seconds better than the men. And so after one heat, the Crash Kids running away with it. I believe 16:54 will be the time to beat 12th state. Their time will end up being 24:14. Apex Black will be 24:19. And CrossFit Coalition will finish 4th in the heat. We'll let the equipment team reset the floor. We'll be back with heat number 2 of 3 of event. You know what? They're taking the floor. So we'll just stay here already. One of the best things about a competition is when it runs on time and it runs efficiently. As I mentioned, JR has a tremendous group of people here that help make that happen for him. This second heat is only going to have 3 teams, and as I mentioned, we did have one late withdraw. See what lanes, if they'll leave a lane open or not, I'm not sure. It won't matter for us to just try to get it right. 2 of the teams in this heat have qualified for the North America East semifinal this year. Spindle City in lane number 4 and Mayhem Liberty in lane number 3. And the remaining team is in lane number 2. Their team name is Let's See What Happens. It's a makeshift team from North Carolina. These athletes they do have a lot of experience. We'll get to see them in a second, but they're not a team that's actually competitive within the CrossFit Games season as the remaining 6 teams across these 2 heats are. 90 seconds till the start time. We're going to show you guys the workout. See it on your screen there. If you were watching in the first heat, you'll already be familiar with it. But we got the female athletes kicking things off. They'll have 12 minutes to accomplish 80 calories on the runner, 80 calories on the bike. They can switch that between that as much as they want to, and then head to the handstand obstacle course, which is clearly the crux of this workout. We had J.R. Howell on the podcast earlier this week, and he talked about the structure of this year's competition for these teams. And so this first workout and also the last one that they'll do on Sunday are going to feature some pretty high level of skills that the athletes are going to have to conquer, the teams are going to have to conquer. Today, it's a handstand walk obstacle course, and the implement that we really have not seen anywhere else yet, the hurdles. We saw the athletes from Crash here on that first heat do it very well. A couple others really seemed to be improving as they went. All of these teams had the chance to check in last night. The hurdles were set up. They had the chance to practice them. But as with most skills in CrossFit, it can take some time to figure it out. But 10 seconds till start time for heat number 2. Once we hit that 12-minute mark, the men will take over, and we'll pull up the workout again at that point. All right, women of heat number 2, lane number 2. This is Let's See What Happens. Bryn Carrick in the foreground and Caroline Stanley, 2023 CrossFit Games athlete there in the black in the background. Middle lane in this heat is that Mayhem Liberty team, second team for CrossFit Mayhem this year. Kenzie Campbell in the foreground, Rebecca Devine in the back. And rounding out the heat, we have Spindle City, that's Brandy Airy in front of you, and Teresa Puckett working on the bike. Teresa Puckett has competed in the past in some competitions that we've covered under the name of Teresa Harvey. She registered for the CrossFit Games season this year as Teresa Puckett. And this is her first live competition competing with that new name. So athlete you may recognize by face, but not by name. Same athlete. Mayhem Liberty is the 17th seed in North America East this year after quarterfinals. Spindle City comes in as the 22 seed. Those seedings were bumping around during the review process for the quarterfinals for the teams, but are now solidified. Let's see what happens in Spindle City. Have made a change. Mayhem Liberty yet to change athletes as Kenzie Campbell continues to work on the runner, and now Rebecca Devine gives her the signal and she'll jump up there and get to work on the runner as Kenzie takes over on the bike. 80 calories on each machine is the objective for the ladies in this one. When the men take over, they'll have 100. Whoops. Apologize for the camera work there. 2 minutes in, most likely be around the 4-minute mark or so that we'll see a team starting to come off here. 20 calories per minute, fairly reasonable for some of the athletes if they want to do it. Again, it doesn't necessarily matter how fast you come off. What really is going to matter is how fast you're able to manage these handstand walk obstacles that JR has laid out for the teams. We did have one heat before this if you're just joining. The Crash Kids had a cumulative time of 16:54. The women's split was 9:19. The men's split was 7:35. None of the other pairings finished underneath the time cap. The closest was the 12th state women who had came up 40 feet short of finishing 4 sections short, so their time would be 12:04. All of those scores and times are unofficial. Doing my best to jot down everything as it happens. Local comp will be responsible for the scoring for this one, as they have been for a majority of the competitions here at CrossFit Crash over the last couple of years. If you want to get official results, that's where you can head to check that out. Approaching the 3.5 minute mark. Bryn Carrick on the left and Kenzie Campbell on the right, in the middle of the floor, have come back onto the runner for the second time. Teresa Puckett looking very comfortable on the runner. Her and Her and Brandy Erg, changing it up only one time so far. Look, camera seeming to have a mind of its own. I apologize for that. 4 minutes elapsed, and a hand does go up for Teresa over there on the air runner. You see 2 fingers up. And as I'm saying that, here we go. Caroline Stanley going to be first to work for let's see what happens. Kenzie Campbell waiting for Rebecca to get the last couple calories on the bike. That's a no rep as Stanley stumbles over the last hurdle. Puckett's going to kick up first for Spindle City. And I believe 2 calories, one calorie now remaining for Mayhem Liberty. Bryn Carrick goes over the hurdles and straight into the middle part of this handstand course. She's up the ramp, down the stairs, has 10 more feet to traverse here. The first and fifth sections are 10 feet and must be done unbroken. Those are the hurdles. In the middle is the 10 foot of turf, ramp, stair, and then 10 more feet of turf. Those 30 feet must be done unbroken. 50 feet now done for the ladies. Let's see what happens. Rebecca Devine easily over the ramp and stair combo. And these women train at CrossFit Mayhem this season, and so they'll have seen the ramp and stairs before, but the hurdles will be relatively new to them. Kenzie does get that done, and so now they're only 10 feet behind the let's see what happened ladies. Randy Airy, right side of the screen, unable to get the ramp to stair there. Rebecca Devine kicking up in front of us as Bryn Carrick is working on the hurdles, far side of the floor, left side of the screen. 1/3 of the handstand walk obstacle course is now done for that team, and that's at the 5:45 mark. Now again, the Crash Kids women finished in 9:19, their men 7:35. It's total cumulative time that matters. Teresa Puckett knocks out the 30-foot section for Spindle City. Brandy Airy working on the last 10 feet, and she gets that done. Left side of the ski, Bryn Carrick up and over the hurdles. Very smooth run there. Half of the handstand walk opposite course is now done for them. They'll go down twice more and back once more. Rebecca Devine moving towards us on the ramp to stair as Teresa Puckett moves away on the right side, stairs to ramp. And now Caroline Stanley also on the stairs to ramp as Kenzie Campbell right in front of us. She finishes up the third of 6 total lengths on the turf for Mayhem Liberty. So they're 40 feet behind Stanley and Carrick right now. And as Devine knocks out the hurdles close to us, Carrick knocks out them on the far side of the floor. So Bryn Carrick and Caroline Stanley need to come towards us and then go back one more time. And they're at the 7-minute mark. So they are in position to potentially log a faster time than the women from the Crash Kids. But the 7:35 for the men will pass them by here in about 20 seconds. Bryn Carrick moving towards us on the left. Kenzie Campbell, another good section on the far side of the floor, but they cannot seem to chip into this 40-foot deficit that they have relative to Carrick and Stanley. Stanley gets the hurdles done there. They only have to go back across the floor one more time, and we're at the 7:40 mark, so looking to be a really good start for the women on Let's See What Happens. Again, their total time will be added with their male teammates' times, who will be starting at the 12-minute mark, regardless of what happens during this interval. Kenzie Campbell, once again, working on the hurdles for the Mayhem Liberty team. She gets that done. We'll check back with them in a second. Stanley gets a 30-foot section done. Carrick looking to close out this portion of the workout for their team, and she's going to do that at the 8:16 mark. So a new top time as far as the women are concerned, and we'll see how their men do and whether that total time will stack up as a time that can challenge the CrossFit Crash team from the previous heat. 8:30 on the clock. 3.5 minutes to the time cap. Rebecca's shaking it out. Kenzie's saying, I can give it a go if you want. Oh, and Rebecca says she is going to give it a try. Clearly the shoulder fatigue is setting in for Rebecca Devine, but what a great save right there. Maintain some composure. And she does get that 30-foot section done, which is huge for the Mayhem Liberty ladies. Last section here for Kenzie. That should be a time of 9:14. So they were 5 seconds faster than the women for the Crash Kids. Second best time amongst the female pairs so far. That leaves 2.5 minutes until the time cap, as Brandy Airy, who's up on her hands right now, and Teresa Puckett are the only athletes remaining working on the floor during this first working window. At the 12-minute mark, the men will have their opportunity to take on their half of event 1 on day 1 here from CrossFit Crash in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Brandy Airy does get across that 30-foot section. Puckett up on her hands as we approach the 2-minute mark. And Teresa does get that one done as well. So they have one more down and back to go and less than 2 minutes to do it. Based on what we've seen so far, it's unlikely they'll finish that entire section, but there is a great possibility to chip away at more of those working segments. Every 10 feet counts as a rep for every team, and every rep that you don't get done within a time cap counts as 1 second towards your team's total time. Puckett clears. Okay, why is it? What the fuck is going on? Puckett does clear that 30-foot section, and I may have spoken too soon. 1 minute to go, and that was their cleanest run yet. 45 seconds to the cap. 12:04 from 12th State would be clearing this section. Judge gives it to him there, excuse me. So they're currently tied with that 12th State team in terms of total work completed. And with 10 seconds to go, I don't think that's going to be enough time to get through this 30-foot section. Bucket will give it a try anyway, working right up to the butter.
3, 2, 1, go!
All right, so I believe 12:04 will be the time for the ladies from Spindle City. And they'll clear the way for the men, who will get their chance to take on event number 1 for the elite co-ed teams of 4 here at Crescendo. There it is for you guys to take a look at. 100 calories on the runner, 100 calories on the biker, split any way you want. After that, they'll have the handstand walk obstacle course to try the same as the women did. 3 down and backs, or 6 total lengths, 90 meters total distance for time. In the first heat, the Crash Kids males were the only ones to finish, and they cleared the entire obstacle course in 7:35, so we'll keep that in the back of our mind. But let's take a look at who we got competing in this heat. For the Let's See What Happened teams, Tristan Foray on the air runner, Evan Rogers in the background. Both accomplished athletes in their own regard in the sport. Evan Rogers actually coming pretty close to a game spot last year in the North American East semifinal. He's there on the runner now as they just made their switch. Mayhem Liberty switching it out, and 2 other athletes who we saw in off-season coverage last season. Dalton Rogers in the background on the bike, Nick Azor in the foreground on the runners. Mayhem Liberty team, again, we're 17th out of the quarterfinals and will be in Knoxville for semis next month. Another team in the same situation is Spindle City. T. James Henderson on the back in the bike, and Will Farquharson, very well-known athlete and well-known gym, quite frankly, in this part of the country. Wearing the light blue shorts, they'll make the switch out as well. Those are the 6 men and the 3 teams competing here. 100 calories each on the runner and the bike to knock out before making their way to the handstand course. This is the second of 3 heats. The final heat will feature 4 extremely impressive teams, including 3 of the top 4 teams coming out of quarterfinals in the North America East region. So these guys know that they have to put in a good performance here because some serious talent is coming up right after them. Two and a half minutes gone here in the men's working interval. Again, we can expect for these guys to be getting to that handstand course right around the 4-minute mark would be my best guess. Tristan Foray looks like he's putting in a good leg on the runner there. I would guess, if I had to guess, I'd say he and Evan Rogers would be the first guys to the handstand course. But with these hurdles in play, I'm not really sure which team's going to have the best run there. I would think Rogers and Azor will be really good on the ramp to stair, and if they can handle the hurdles, that they might be able to put up a good time. For the women in this heat, 8:16 for Caroline Stanley and Bryn Carrick on the Let's See What Happens team. 9:14 for Rebecca Devine, Kenzie Campbell on the Mayhem Liberty team in Spindle City. Coming up 40 feet or 4 seconds short of that cap on the score of the leaderboard. 3.5 minutes gone. Rogers and Azor switch it up again. Will Farquharson, right side of the floor. Evan Rogers, left side of the floor. Nick Azor, middle of the floor. Working on that runner. Seems like most of the strategies for the teams have been to kind of coast in on the bike towards the end as the final athlete is chipping away at the run. Generally, you'll see a judge's hand go up for the athlete that's on the runner. are just past the 4-minute mark now, and you see Evan Rogers off the runner, and here comes Tristan Foray, and as I thought might be the case, they'll be the first to work on that handstand walk obstacle course, and let's see what they got with that hurdle. Evan Rogers, no problem, and he's going to keep it going. Rogers going to continue. 50 feet unbroken for Evan Rogers to kick things off. Farquharson, very good in specific gymnastics, and you see that T. James Henderson ran down the outside lane, not even worried about Will's ability to clear this first 50-foot section on his own. Wow, that is confidence in your team. And Will does in fact do that. What? I apologize for that. I'm gonna have to look into that between events. T. James Henderson up on his hands. And Evan Rogers. And T. James runs out of the way. Will gonna take over once again. Dalton Rogers and Nick Azor are racing through this course as well. Evan Rogers with a miss on the far side of the floor. And the race is definitely on here in this heat in a different capacity than we've seen in any section of either of the heats so far. Henderson and Farquharson are in the lead. Rogers and Foray are now 10 feet behind. Henderson called back, I believe, for going around the outside of one of the hurdles. Rogers and Azor, who were last to the obstacle course, are now step for step with, well, there are two Rogers on the floor. So Dalton Rogers and Nick Azor have overtaken the lead from Evan Rogers and Tristan Foray. And Dalton Rogers, I don't think, okay, a little bit of misstep here, but he's looked great on his hands. And Will Farquharson is single-handedly demolishing this course for Spindle City as they've now overtaken the lead. Halfway done for Spindle City and Mayhem Liberty, two teams who will expect to see each other and be battling next month as well. T. James just verifying that that was in fact a good rep. Nick Azor coming off the stairs. So Farquharson and Dalton Rogers are carrying the load for their two teams respectively here. Fiore and Evan Rogers, who were the first to the handstand obstacle course, have fallen to the back here of this heat. Not that they're doing that poorly, just other two teams having a great run at this so far. Henderson heading back towards us. Spindle City with a 10-foot lead, or one section lead, over Mayhem Liberty at this point.
I look like shit.
And Farquharson knocks it out again. They've got one traverse of the floor remaining. T. James Henderson with his cleanest run yet on the hurdles. There we go. Nick Azor gets a 30-foot section done for Mayhem Liberty. Dalton Rogers will look to close things out for them. T. James tumbles down the ramp as Farquharson may be able to finish this up again. The amount of shoulder fatigue he must be experiencing is extreme, but no sign of stopping for Will Farquharson. All the way on the other side of the floor, and at the 1955, so that'll be 7:55 mark, Spindle City logs the score. We're gonna hold on the math for now. 7:55 plus 12:09, I should be able to do that. That's gonna be 20:04, I believe. Dalton Rogers, Evan Rogers side by side, but they should be on different lengths of the floor here. Wow, that was in brave position. Dalton Rogers says he's gonna do the rest on his own, and 20:27 on the clock will be a time of 8:27. And that 8:27 plus 9:14, 17:41. So they will still be behind the time from Crash Kids. But they'll be well ahead of Spindle City as a team collectively. And I think Rogers and Foray may have gotten it done. Let me go check the time on that one. Evan, you guys done, yeah? Angie, what'd you get for their time there? Total 10. Okay. 8 minutes and 30 seconds for the men to finish. And this is going to be close. 8:30 for the men to go with 8:16 for the women will give 16:46, which is new time to beat. So after 2 heats, 16:46 for team Let's See What Happens, 16:54 for the Crash Kids, and 17:41 for Mayhem Liberty. 20:04 for Spindle City are the unofficial scores. 2 heats done, 1 to go. Again, all those scores unofficial, but teams conferring with judge and head judge Lizzie Self there, wife of Taylor Self, has been a head judge here at the Crash competitions for a couple years. In fact, I believe they met here at a couple of competitions ago, and Taylor proposed here 1 year ago. So congratulations to Taylor and Lizzie Self on their 1 year engagement anniversary. Gonna step aside for just a minute while they reset the floor. I'll be back with the final. The final heat of event number 1 is taking the floor for the co-ed elite teams of 4 division. We've had 2 heats run through event number 1 here already at Crash Crescendo 2024. And as I mentioned, this final heat is stacked with talent. You will see 3 of these 4 teams at the semifinal. The team that's in this heat that you won't see is the Grit House. They were a CrossFit Games team last year. They ultimately had to withdraw from the CrossFit Games due to injury and were ranked 29th when that happened. They were in a qualifying position for the North America East semifinal, but one of their athletes did not do one of their workouts that he submitted at their affiliate, and so they were not going to be able to advance in this season. That did not deter them from coming here to compete. They had 2 teams here last year. They were slated to have 2 teams here this year. That other team had an injury or 2 that forced them to withdraw, but they are, out of Charlotte, the CLT, the Grit House, mainstay in competitions around here. We'll introduce you to all their athletes as we go, but they're the only team of these 4 that won't be at the semis. The other 3 teams placed 2nd, 3rd, and 4th respectively in that semifinal. In lane number 3 will be the Ocean State CrossFit team. They are going to be the 2nd team in the East. And lane number 4 is Mayhem Independence. They qualified 3rd out of the East. And in lane number 4, Reignited, they qualified 4th out of the East. So we got a really, really impressive division here. Like I said, we'll go through each of the individual athletes and some of their accomplishments and accolades as we go. But a little reminder for you as we're 1 minute out from starting this heat of what the workout is. The women will work together. They'll have 12 minutes. Even if they all finish in 6 minutes, it won't be until that 12-minute mark that the men will start. And then the men And by the way, they won't finish in 6 minutes. The men will then have their opportunity to take on their version of this one. So the women will start on the machines, 80 and 80, switch as desired, before heading to the handstand wrap obstacle course for 3 down and backs or 6 total lengths. 90 meters is the distance. Every 10 feet counts as a rep, and it counts as 1 second if they don't finish. The score for this one is total time. Males will go second. They'll add their time to their female time, and at this moment, we've got pretty impressive scores on the board. Let's see what happened out of the previous heat. 16:46, unofficial time to beat. Crash Kids out of the first heat, 16:54, 8 seconds behind that. Second best time we've seen so far. And Mayhem Liberty, 17:41 is the third team. Spindle City did have 1 pair finish. Their men were super fast thanks to Will Parker Harson's heroic performance on the handstand course. Their total time, 20:04. All right, let's get to know some of the women in this heat. Grit House CLT in the foreground, Caroline Klutz, one of the fittest masters on earth. Won the masters version of Crucible last year here. Competed fittest of the coast out in South Carolina. Had exceptional finish there. Steph Grain, CV Dellinger, getting ahead of myself there. CV Dellinger, the other athlete on the Grit House team. A ton of experience with this team as well. Those will be the women for the Grit House this weekend. Lane number 3, some familiar names in the CrossFit space. Christine Middleton, you might know her as Zioli on Instagram. She's got some of the best lifts in competition history, one of the strongest women in CrossFit. And Christine Best, who competed here last year on the one of the Move Fast Lift heavy teams. She has qualified for the CrossFit Games on her own as well. Been around the sport forever. So Christine and Christine, spelled differently, but a really strong female duo in the team field of competition this year. Mayhem Independence, lane number 4, Zoe Jones on the air runner, and Molly McGrandy on the bike. Molly McGrandy is the new addition to the team this year, replacing Kyra Milligan, who will be giving this season her best effort as an individual out west. Zoe Jones and Sam DeMeester, who will be one of the guys on our team, came down 2 years ago from Michigan to be in Mayhem, and they've been enjoying it there, and they're running it back this year. And finally, there is Steph Grange, excuse me for the misstep early. She's in the foreground for Reignited. Shaylin Laurie, who has an uncanny ability to remain calm during competition and even joking as she seems to do in the back there on the bike. Shaylin Laurie has been a competitor around these parts as well. She was out at Fittest of the Coast. She competed here on the Shoe Fly team a couple years ago. That team ended up being withdrawn from the CrossFit Games season because one of their athletes failed a drug test. But a ton of experience amongst the women here in this final heat. And we know that if you want to have a good team in the CrossFit landscape, you've got to have the ladies to back it up. All 4 of these teams can certainly say that. 2.5 minutes have elapsed. 12 minutes of working time available for the women. Probably be around that 4-minute mark that they get off. And I think that lane number 2, Stevie and Caroline, are going to be good candidates to be the first ones to get started on the handstand course. Once again, with the obstacles of the hurdle in play, difficult to necessarily predict who's going to blitz through that. Saw some of these athletes testing this out last night during check-in, testing it out this morning, again, prior to competition starting. Good communication there between some of the teams. You know, we see different strategies in terms of the number of times switching. The Mayhem team seeming to do bigger sets on the machines, where some of the other teams have switched more frequently. Both the Grit House and Ocean States. And now Reignited making yet another switch, while Mayhem Independence has only had 1 switch so far. .3:45 on the clock. I expect we'll see some handstand walking going on very soon. Caroline Klutz finishing up the run. I think she got 2nd place on a 5K trail run or 4K trail run at Fittest of the Coast that we covered back in January. And she's going to take over a little bit on the bike there to close things out. Hand up on the other side of the floor for Reignited as well. and running. Thought reignited might be done, but as expected, it's the Grit House who's the first to work on the handstand course. Ocean State not far behind. Stevie Dellinger looking good on her hands here. All 40 feet done for her. Caroline Klutz looking to close out the first length for the Grit House team, and she will do that with success. The other three teams still working on the other side of the floor. Pull it wide for you guys so you can see as much as possible. Klutz gets another set of hurdles done, and Dellinger looking to kick up right behind her. Steph Grange moving towards us in the foreground, reignited and moved into second place in the heat here. Right behind them is the Liberty team and the Ocean State team. Jalen with a 90-degree turn on her hands with the obstacle. We have not seen that yet. Molly McGrandy completing one section for the Mayhem team. And Christine Middleton able to do the same for the Ocean State team. In the meantime, far side of the floor, Klutz and Dellinger are working their way back towards us. This will be their third of 6 lengths of the floor. And 3 total down and back, 6 total traverses, 90 meters the total distance walking. The Grit House team is in the lead. Dellinger with quick work of that middle section. Reignited, currently second in the heat, followed by Mayhem Independence. And Christine Middleton taking a tumble there on the ramp stairs if they've fallen to 4th in the heat. We're just at the 6-minute mark. Out of 12 total minutes available to get this work done, Grit House is heading back down the floor in the other direction. The top time we've seen from any female team so far, 8:16, Caroline Stanley and Bryn Carrick. About 2 minutes away from that, we'll see if the Grit House ladies are able to better that performance. Coming towards us on the right side of the floor is Reignited in the green pants, and then the Mayhem Independence straight in front of us on the all black. Left side of your screen, Klutz gets 10 feet done. Dellinger kicking up to that middle section again. We're at the 6:40 mark. And the total score for this workout is the female time to complete all the work plus the male time. So we can keep track of kind of where they're at, but ultimately it depends on the men just as much as the women here. Klutz in the foreground will finish the 5th of 6 total lengths of the floor. She's going to turn around and do another 10-foot section heading back towards what will effectively be the finish line for her and Dellinger. And we're at the 7:05 mark, so they do have a chance to come in underneath that time of 8:16 that we saw from Stanley and Carrick in the previous heat. Far side of the floor, Lori is working back towards us. Ocean State knocks out another length there in the foreground. Dellinger kicks down as Klutz is going to close things out for them. And a 7:37, the fastest time we've seen for any female pair so far. 8:16 was the previous time for that. As far as the men are concerned, 7:35 from the Crash Kids. So that 7:37 nearly as fast for the women for the Grit House. Extremely impressive on their hands. Taylor Lowry, Steph Grange. Now done with 5 of 6 total lengths, so they're heading back towards their finish line at the 8-minute mark. The Independence team has Zoe Jones working on the ramp to stairs as they try to reel in that Reignited team. Assuming she knocks out these last couple feet, they're now 10 feet behind them technically. However, Lori gets another 10 feet done, so now it's a 20-foot gap or 2 sections. Grandy says she'll take the hurdles going both directions. Middleton and Bess working on the hurdles on the other side of the floor. And Molly McGrandy with an opportunity to make a move here for Mayhem Independence. Going to be very close. Steph Grange is a dumb. Shaylin Lowry kicks up. McGrandy keeps going. And McGrandy, 50 feet unbroken. No rep, so 9:03 Lori will get done, and they call McGrandy back for the last step, it looked like there. So she gambled and I don't think it paid off. She may be coming back to give it another go. Best in the meantime working for Ocean State here. She's going to knock out that 30 feet. Jones with another miss. Let's see if McGrandy can knock this out, and then we'll get back to the Ocean State women. Again, the last 10 feet section here. Oh my goodness. Now 30 seconds has passed since that final no rep that she got. Let's see how much this ends up costing them. And now McGrandy is able to get it done in 9:46. So costing them about 45 seconds there. And that leaves Ocean State on the floor with about 2 minutes to try to complete their last 50 feet of handstand walking. Clearly they're in the back of this heat, but there's lots of other times that factor in. We saw a lot of female athletes and a couple male teams not finish this, so every second matters. What happened on the last one? Did you not get your last hand across?
My hand was in the other lane. So close.
I just checked with Molly McGrandy there. She said her hand went into the other lane, so a good call per the rules there. She went for it. It cost them about 45 seconds, but they understand the call. About 90 seconds to go for the women here. Christine Best here, trying to get over this stairs to ramp for the last time. Maintains her balance at the top there. Hopefully able to knock out these last few feet. She's going to give it a go. No reason not to at this point. 3 hurdles to go. Just gets that right hand caught on the second hurdle at the 1 minute mark. Middleton will take her try at it. Kicks back down. 40 seconds until the men will get to work. See them all primed and ready to go over there. 2 more hurdles for Middleton. 11:30, they will log a time there, and they'll take it for sure. So the respective times for the women, 7:37 for the Grit House, 9:03 for Reignited, 9:46 Mayhem Independence, 11:30 for Ocean State. Very fancy scorekeeping here. And the men are off. Throw the workout up here one more time for you guys. So the men have 100 calories on both machines to accomplish. Switch between the athletes however they desire. Upon finishing that, they'll head to the same handstand walk obstacle course that you just saw the women take on for 3 total trips up and down the floor. Keep that up there for you guys if you're just joining us to read for a second. But the men in this heat, we'll give them an introduction just as we have everyone else. Grit House, Ben Sexton, an athlete in the foreground, not one of the usual members of their team, but a very, very fit individual. And Kevin Steinhaus, kind of the leader of this team historically, one of the veterans in the sport, great athlete. Likely we'll see him, if he wants to, at the Masters CrossFit Games this year, at least at the semifinals. This year's men for the Ocean State team are familiar for sure. Ethan Helbig is on the underdogs team with Christine Best at the games last year, and Josh Mattis would have been representing CrossFit Believe if not for an accident prior to the CrossFit Games last year. Very, very strong team. Excited to see what they can do this year. Ocean State, a storied program in and of themselves, and Josh Mattis wanted to get a team out here. Christine Best said, yeah, that's a great comp, so here they've traveled down to compete. Absolutely love the fact that they're down here. And they get to go against a team that they'll absolutely be staring in the face a month from now at the semifinals. You know this guy in front, Angelo DeChico, former CrossFit Games teenage athlete, individual semifinalist, CrossFit Games captain of the Mayhem Independence team the past couple years. Sam DeMeester in the background, as we talked about. These guys had a top 10 finish at the games last year, and they'll be looking to improve upon that this season. Really cool that they've made the trip out here, but once again, they know that this is an opportunity to test themselves in an environment that's it's very, quite frankly, difficult to find a competition for teams of 4 that's going to be this well balanced with high skills, synchro work and big demand over 3 days. This is a primer and a tune-up, an opportunity for them to learn for semis next month, and they know it, and that's why they're out here. And finally, CrossFit Reignited's males, Quinn Robinson, who was absolutely spectacular at Fittest of the Coast. I believe podium, second place to Dre Strom in the individual division and finishing on the podium with the team as well. Jordan Lundeen behind him is the other man on this team. He was at Fittest of the Coast as well. He was also at the CrossFit Games semifinals in the East last year, finishing in the 40s. Can't remember exactly what the placement was off the top of my hand. I don't have any notes in front of me. So those are the men in this division, and you guys can see a ton of experience, a ton of quality, an absolute honor to have all these teams competing here. But let's see what they have when it comes to the skills on their hands. You know that in the sport of CrossFit these days, in addition to being, or a part of being fit, is being able to do these high skill implements. We just saw the women from the Grit House handle that. And I expect that some of these guys are going to be pretty good on their hands as well. We're just at the 3 minute and 15 second mark out of the 12-minute working window for the men. Their time to complete the buy-in on the machines plus the handstand walk course will be added to their female time. As far as total times are concerned, 16:46, 16:54, 17:41 are the top 3 times cumulatively so far. That 16:46 comes from, let's see what happened in the previous heat. 16:54 still standing up as the second best time for the Crash Kids from heat number 1. To put it in perspective, the Crash Kids had females 9:19, males 7:35, whereas Let's See What Happens had a little bit more balance, 8:16 for the women, 8:30 for the men. Knowing that we have a 7:37 log for the Grid House, we have an idea of what will be required in order to get underneath that. Basically, 9 minutes will get the job done. 9:03 for Reignited, 9:46 for Mayhem Independence women. So if their men have some fast runs in that 7 to 8 minute range, they will also be in the mix for a top 3 finish on this one. And just like the women, the Grid House are going to clear the machines first. Let's see if they're as good on their hands as the ladies were. Kevin Steinhaus up working first for the guys. Quinn Robinson gave it a go on the hurdles out there for Reignited. It came down immediately. He's up again. Steinhaus knocks out 40 feet. Quinn comes down. Lundeen is up as Angelo DeChico moves right past him. Ethan Helbig now working in the brightly colored shorts there for Ocean State. Ben Sexton, left side of your screen, looking to clear the hurdles for the first time, and he gets it done. DeChico looking to go 50 feet unbroken. Handstand walking done in abundance at CrossFit Mayhem, of course, and that's 50 feet for Angelo. Jordan Lundeen comes across, and Josh Mattis will kick up as he works on the hurdles on the last section there. Sam comes down, Quinn comes down, Angelo up again as he looks now to try to reel in Sexton and Steinhaus. And Sam DeMeester kicks up to get to work on the middle section. And ramp to stairs, something I would expect that he does have in the arsenal, and he goes through that no problem at all. So that Mayhem Independence men have now finished 1/3 of this work that's required, and they've passed all the other teams by. Jordan Lundeen, another great section there for Reignited. Mattis comes down as Helbig will kick up. DeMeester running down to set the course for Angelo on the hurdles. Gets out of his way. Angelo kicks down and he'll make way for DeMeester. DeMeester comes up 1 hurdle short there. Angelo back up again. As now Ethan Helbig is chasing him down, and that Ocean State team has moved into second in the heat. So we got a little bit of a battle on our hands here. Helbig misses, Lord, and that opens the door for Lundeen to take him over. So Ocean State and Reignited exchanging second and third place here. Both of them trying to keep Mayhem Independence in their sights. Independence women had a slower time than both those teams, so Angelo and Sam certainly know that they'll need to make up that time. So Meester knocks out the 30-foot section there, and Angelo kicks up again. And this will complete 2 out of the 3 total lengths for their team. 1 traverse down and back remaining for Independence, who've now opened up a 40-foot lead over the other 2 teams there. Steinhaus and Sexton have finished 1/3 of their workout in lane number 2, and they're heading back towards us now, but have fallen from 1st to 4th in the heat. Robinson kicks down again. Helbig successful over the stairs to ramp, and Sam DeMeester working back towards us here for Independence as they're looking to log what could end up being the fastest time we've seen from any combo, male or female so far. Currently 7 minutes and 20 seconds is gone, so that actually might be just slightly outside of realistic possibility. Angela's going to kick up again and head in the other direction, but this time does have the chance to make up that difference and put them right in contention in terms of being a top overall time on this workout. Angela DeChico looking for a place where he can stand safely there. The Meester knocks at another 30-foot second, and Angela with one hurdle section to go. 19:52, so 7:52 on the clock for Independence. Too much going on the floor, so I'll just jot that down. We'll get to the math later on. Jordan Lundeen and Quinn Robinson have fallen behind the Ocean State team at this point. Apologize for missing some of the action there. Trying to work around everything that's going on here in the facility. Steinhaus on the right side of your screen now working towards us. This is their second trip back this direction. Helbig in the colorful pants is working towards us on their third and final trip towards us. So Helbig and Mattis are looking to log a time here. And they'll be also trying to make up a little bit of that deficit that the women gave away relative to this heat. Then Sexton knocks it out, so one more down and back for the Grid House. Mattis gets it done 20:48, so that should be a time of 8:48 for Ocean State. Sexton with a miss there, far side of the floor. Quinn Robinson gets another section done, so the last section of the floor for Lundeen and Robinson is going to be coming back towards us. We have 2.5 minutes until the time cap here. Sexton's going to give it another go right in front of us as Jordan Lundeen is working towards us on the far side of the floor. Sexton comes down. Lundeen clears the hurdles. Steinhaus over the hurdles is going to keep it going. Try to take that ramp on as well. Lundeen now moving towards us. He's going to miss on the stairs to ramp combo. Historically more difficult than the ramp to stairs for most every athlete in the sport. Steinhaus with a great 40-foot section there. Sexton will look to clean up the last 10 feet if he can. Robinson now giving it a go on that stairs to ramp, and Sexton does get that 10-foot section done. 2 minutes to the time cap for these final two teams on the floor in the final heat of heat number 1. Sexton misses on the hurdles coming back the other direction. Now it's Lundeen working on the ramp, and he clears that. 10 more feet to go for this reignited team. Let's see if Quinn Robinson can close it out for them. One hurdle to go. He gets across 22:27, so that'll be a time of 10:27. Again, I'll try to get to the math in just a second. Well, that one's actually pretty easy. It looks like it's going to be a total time of 19:30 for the reignited team. While the Grit House keeps working here on the floor, we got 1:15 to go. I believe that the Ocean State time will be 20:18, so even though their men were great there, the women's being a little bit slower will yield them a slower total time than reignited. That 2018 will also be just 14 seconds behind Spittle City. Again, all of these are unofficial. Doing a little bit of mental math here, but I believe 17:34 will be the time for Mayhem. And 17:34, if that is the time, will get them in just underneath the other Mayhem Liberty team, who I have down at 17:41, which means that let's see what happens. Caroline Sandy, Bryn Carrick, Kristen Foray, and Evan Rogers, 16:46, look like they'll have the overall lead after one event. And the Crash Kids out of Heat 1, Caroline Thomas, Jessica Rubo, Zach Striel, Caden Myers, 16:54 will be in second overall. 23:45 on the clock as the Grit House gets across. So that's 11:45. We'll add that to the 7:37 from the women. So that's 18, 19, 22. And that 19:22 will actually be Still 8 seconds faster total than the Reignited team. Angelo talking to his judge. Ocean State taking some pictures with the fans. Love him down there. Rick Jones, obviously behind the lenses. Grit House girls. Caroline, why were you so good at that?
How am I so good at that? I think it's the individual comp.
You've done it before.
I've done it before.
Only the guys from Crash were faster than you two.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I knew we were having like clean sweeps.
I mean, as an individual pairing.
Yeah.
You guys were only 2 seconds behind him. It was really good.
I told Stevie, I'm like, well, us two girls against any other two girls here.
Oh yeah,
Let's do a
I mean,
competition that way.
that was great.
It's good. I mean, we worked all together. We just kind of did it off feel. Like, it wasn't going to be planned for her to do the whole opposite for me to do all the pylons, but
Just worked out that way.
it worked out that way, so yeah.
Great job, Caroline. All right, event 1 is in the books. It's currently 3:20 p.m. on the East Coast. Event 2 is going to start at 4 p.m. We'll end this stream, and we'll be back for that one. Unofficially, we believe that Let's See What Happens is currently in first, Crash Kids currently in second, and Mayhem Independence, but it's close. Maybe holding down that third place position. Check all the official scores on CrossFit, on local comp, We're here at CrossFit Cash in Spartanburg, South Carolina. I'm Brian Friend, and we'll see you for event 2 in about 4